Hey guys, it's Mr. DeFelice here. Today, since we've gotten a solid understanding of the basic terms of geometry, we're going to start moving into our next unit, which involves perpendicular and parallel lines. So we're going to start just getting a basic understanding of each, and then some symbols that are associated with each. So I'd like you to highlight and follow along as I'm reading, and then you can answer the questions in the back of the sheet. Alright, so perpendicular and parallel lines. These lines are very special. Make sure you get their autographs. Let's start with perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect or cross at 90-degree angles. I'm going to highlight that part right there. And a picture of it is this. There are two lines that cross and they form a right angle, which we know that symbol right there, that box symbol, is a right angle. We learned that when we did complementary angles. What you need to know is that perpendicular lines actually create four, that's right folks, four right angles. Here's what I mean. If you draw two lines that are perpendicular, there are actually four right angles that are being created on the diagram. And it looks like this. Why don't we draw this? Well, there's an answer for that. Why don't they draw all four boxes? Well, it's simple. They're lazy just like most people. In fact, all of us mathematicians are a little lazy, and we seek to do things as simply as possible without actually cutting corners. Back to the perpendicular lines. If you want to say that these two lines are perpendicular, you use this symbol, which looks like an upside down T. This symbol means perpendicular or is perpendicular to. So if I knew the names of these lines, for example, let's say I said this was A, B, and C, D, put little dots on there for being points on those lines, or those segments. I could say AB is perpendicular to DC. So if I see that symbol, that tells me that it means perpendicular. They form right angles. The other type of lines you're going to work with in this class are parallel lines. So parallel lines, the technical definition is two lines that line the same plane that never intersect. So think about our definition of plane. A plane is just a flat surface that extends forever and ever, and generally we drew this picture to represent a plane. Two lines that are in that plane that never cross. So simply put, two lines on the same piece of paper or surface that never cross. That is, they will never cross no matter how long they are. Notice that I said two lines, not line segments. If I said line segments, it would look much different. So these two lines here are parallel. These are not parallel, because if I extended this and I kept drawing my line, because the arrows say it goes on forever, it would eventually cross and hit this one. On this picture, these ones, if I extend them, are never going to cross with this one. That's what makes them parallel. Here, these are not parallel. I know they're segments, so they end. But the whole definition is that they would never be able to cross. So these ones might eventually cross if you were able to add lines onto them. So parallel lines can never cross. In the figure with the parallel lines, you probably noticed these little arrows. If you see these arrows, it means that those lines that have those arrows are on them are in fact parallel, even if they don't look like it. So if you see these little arrows on a diagram for lines, it indicates that those two lines are parallel to each other. If two lines don't have those arrows and they look parallel, you cannot count on it. So you can't just think that because they look parallel, they're parallel. They normally need to have these lines unless they're told to you otherwise. The symbol for parallel is two bars standing right next to each other. Kind of looks like two L's. So if you wanted to say that AB is parallel to CD, you would write AB is parallel to CD. We're going to keep practicing this as we work on this in this class. For now, just work on the questions on the back, and then we'll get started on our next unit, which involves parallel lines and perpendicular lines.